at our Facebook statuses and email IDs from 8 years ago? Well, my first email ID was something on the lines of course not Shalaka, but modern arts, something @ymail or yahoo.com. And I used to write my name on Facebook as Khalaka Sulkarni. Khalaka Sulkarni, just to stand out from the crowd. And if you talk about my dressing sense and photo editing skills, well, let's not go there. It's a total cringe-worthy fest. When I look back at this video in 2030, I hope I don't disappoint myself. You see, as I've grown over the years, I've realized that they're not just these incidents which I talk about, but a lot of them which are totally worthy of stand-up comedy or a sketch. And if not that, a hearty laugh at least. We get bogged down and affected by things which actually don't matter in the long run, and we just don't realize it then. From a long-term perspective, it is probably for the best. You see, perhaps if I wouldn't have interchanged the alphabets of my name, I wouldn't have been standing here today telling you this story. It is the butterfly effect, truly. Coming back to one such story where we all have learned how to ride a bike. And we have always been told that you will fall off multiple times before learning how to ride a bike, which is a life lesson. But it gets ignored in the longer scheme of things, where nobody talks about how okay it is to fall off even when you know how to ride a bike, even when you have sailed through the sinusoidal waves, and still it is okay to fall once in a while. Success is always seen in an upstream setting. Getting into a dream college, getting a dream job, getting a dream car, dream house, etc. But I really feel that success cannot be defined. Success cannot be defined, and it is a state of mind. And it cannot be defined because it's not a physics law, right? If you look at things in today's COVID-19 scenario, success is not about landing a dream job or buying a dream car, but more so of finding an oxygen cylinder to save someone's life. Probably next year, when we win over this battle, success would be about reducing your screen time and achieving peace of mind. I'm a single child and I was raised in an academic mold. I was supposed to perform well in academics as well as extracurricular activities. I think most of you would relate. My first interaction with the word failure was when I flunked in my math test in 7th grade by a mark or two. And again in first year of engineering, 6 years later, in engineering mechanics, by again a mark or two. I missed my mom's first book launch because I had a re-exam of engineering mechanics. I really don't use it in my daily life today. There is no use of engineering mechanics. And I feel sad that I couldn't be there for her celebrating her feat. Only because that failure was a molehill of a setback, but I perceived it as a mountain of despair. Strolling a little ways down the road after my engineering, I didn't prepare for competitive exams, and hence I didn't land a prestigious management institute like some of my batchmates did. It did feel like a setback in the shorter scheme of things, but if you look at it, a college name or the college brand name only matters to a certain extent. It doesn't have the power to change your fate. You have the power to change your fate. You have to make the most of the avenues which are available to you, and you are your own Wonder Woman and you are your own Superman. Let me tell you that. Because making the most of it matters. Trying matters. Your courage, strength, resilience, dedication, and all these virtues matter. If you look at it in today's recruitment scenario, people from the best of the firms are not looking at the GPA, but hire from Twitter. I had good grades and good credentials while I was pursuing my MBA, but I still couldn't land the job I wanted to, in the field I wanted to. I was even awarded Student Achievement Award, and my whole corporate journey started with 4 pitch-folly milestones, as I like to call them, of unconfirmed job offers, withdrawn offer letters, and startups which had to let go of people. I was even advised during this span that I should take up something which is way below my caliber because it is better than sitting idle. What do you do when the loved ones around you don't believe in you? You believe in yourself even harder. For me, it took a lot of patience, a vacation, conversations, and medications only to realize that job is not your life. Job is just a part of your life. As I was talking about how trivial these things are in the longer scheme of life, what kept me sane was the spirit of giving back. I used to work with underserved communities, cancer patients, and acid attack survivors. We just make a fuss out of a small setback, and when we look above the window pane, things are completely different. I have learned the true value of compassion and empathy working with these people. And that is what I apply in my daily life and not engineering mechanics, right? Whenever I choose to answer an unknown number or a cold call, I ensure that I don't hang up on anyone's face. I ensure that I speak to them while they speak about their loan programs or contact lenses. The value of being good to people was taught to me by my parents at the age of 3. It all started with waving back at security guards when they used to salute at my dad. Today, you see during the pandemic, everyone is trying hard to sustain molding someone's loss. Everyone is trying their best to save their jobs. These are the times which woke us up, teaching the value of empathy, teaching that there is strength in empathy, and I hope it stays. As a storyteller, I have always felt that life is more about people and less about achieving things or success. I often say that people are inspired by stories and stories are inspired by people, and that's my favorite cycle. While we are talking about stories, it's the stories of failures which should be celebrated. I think more than my achievements and accolades, it's the pitfalls which should be celebrated, because that is something which has gone in building the conviction, which has built a strong foundation, and that is what is under the stairs. These setbacks have challenged me, they have shaken my confidence, but in the end made me a better person. They have empowered me with the values of consistency, courage, discipline, resilience, and those values help me today in doing more and more. What I am trying to say is, may it be a pondering party or dancing in distress, but it is important to celebrate failures. Just like breakups, you know. If I had a time machine, I would definitely go back and throw a party when I didn't crack a code, or maybe 10, and when I didn't get the job I wanted to after 5 rounds of interviews. When a guy said no. When a guy said no multiple times. When I was bitten by a rodent and when I broke my toe. So come, let's raise a virtual toast to the times where we felt lost. To the times it was a nay instead of a yay. To all the scrapes and bruises and to all the heartache. Come, let's stretch our 17 jaw muscles and celebrate our failures. I promise you would have interesting stories to tell. In a nutshell, embrace your flaws. Be empathetic to the world and to yourself. And most importantly, trust the process. Trust the process because you never know what's in store for you. You never know what's gonna happen next. And the best of things happen when you least expect them. While probably you are watching a sitcom or sipping tea with your mom, and especially when you get rejected for that aspired promotion. Digging something from the wheelhouse of How I Met Your Mother, where Ted Mosby says, "The universe is a plan, kids, and it is always in motion." Thank you one and all.